Do you take pride in sort of you, Stewie, Jakob? There's a couple others. You guys have quickly changed how the 15 is run, how the men's 15 internationally is run, and especially in the US, at the domestic meets here are run. Um, to the point where I think it was Whiteman was saying that he needs to change his training because of how different it's run all of a sudden. You will front run and run hard every single time and sort of create your own luck. I think Stewie is doing the same exact thing. Your guys' DL points like through the roof, the wins, the consistent 334 and under races that you've had. Um, do you see yourself kind of doing the same thing? How do you see like the 15 trending this year and next?
Yeah, it's really interesting because I coming off college, I watched a lot of races, and the one guy that I loved watching race was Matt Centro, because he was technically perfect. Like regardless of like the where the race was, because it was much more of a tactical championship race, he was perfect. The way he raced, the way he positioned himself, the way he made his moves was like almost spot on. It was great to watch, and I think Matt was the catalyst to change the way people run the 1500 because of his gold medal in Rio. I think that's what started it, because people like me started to see that people can win races at that pace. You just got to close. And I thought, well, I can counter that. Chewy thought, I can counter that. Jakob, Chariot, they can counter that. They'll go out in 151 and they can hang on because they've got that speed endurance, they've got that strength. And then people started to become more receptive to that kind of running. Josh Kerr as well. He'll go out and solo a 331 because he knows he can do that. Um, so I think Matt winning a race like that, who was like obviously a slow 1500-meter Olympic final, but the way he won it, I think made people realize that they could win a race the other way. They could come off a training in a different way, and I think that's why even now the 5K is so important in 1500-meter running. You look at the 5K PBs, and that's one of the reasons why BU was a good indication for us, is because a lot of the 5K PRs for those athletes is very, very close to 13 minutes. And Matt Centro is a 30-minute 5K. Stewie has 13:05. Jakob's got 12:40 something. I don't know, something ridiculous. Like, those kind of people have those kind of those times. And I mean, Kerr has the same. Kerr's Olympic bronze medalist, 13:22 and a 1:45, 1:46, 800. So he can run those other events. And then I think being good at those other events and being competitive really can help you translate to a 1500, because the way the Olympics went, which I kind of thought it would, was that every race was quick, but it still kicked. People still kicked afterwards. I mean, the Olympic record was broken in the semi-final. It was just, it's going off a trend where I think now people are going to be able to maintain that speed, but be able to either hold it or just increase it. I think going into these competitive races like Cole Hocker, for example, he can now prove to himself that he can run at those races. He can run at that pace, because people were thinking, oh, he can run at 25 like it's no one's business. But he really proved that he can kick off those races and he can be competitive in those races. So I think the trend is going to stay that way, because I think a lot of people are now translating their training to be able to run good 5Ks, good 800s, to run a good 1500. Um, Most 10K runners run a really good 5K. And just those other events have now become more important than you realize, because people are able to kind of develop their strengths from those other events and then really combine those ingredients into that one race that they're specializing in, which is for me the 1500. So yeah, I think this year you're going to see a lot of 330s from a lot of people. I think I wouldn't be surprised seeing Hocker, Kerr, all those guys going into those races and running sub 330s, but being much more of a tactical race. Eugene's a fast track. The hype in Eugene is going to be fantastic. And I think going to those 1500, you've got a crazy depth of runners who can run low 330s. So I think they're just going to be 330 races, and it's going to be who can last, who can keep doing that, who can keep running 330 races and be competitive. And I think that's it's going to be what it takes to win or medal at those championship races.